So we were doing our rain garden today and we found this one. Looks like an old toy. And I have no idea what car model that is, but let's have a look. We can clean that up a little bit. So I guess it was in the ground for many years. Doesn't look like a new toy actually. And yeah, just let's have a look. So it's definitely a US station wagon. I'd say maybe from the 50s. No idea. So if anybody can identify what station wagon model that's supposed to be, I would be happy if you could leave a comment. Okay, so I already made a video about this one, which we found when we were digging the rain garden here. And it is a pretty old toy car. And I tried to make it cleaner. And it's actually made in America, to be precise, made in Chicago by a company called Tootsietoy. And it's most likely made in the 60s. And now let's just see when we put it in here if we get it cleaner. And I just let it sit here a few hours and then we come back and shall see. So, okay, we soaked it overnight and now we give it a final clean, and then we just gonna look inside here because there's some text which gives us actually a good idea who manufactured it and when it might was manufactured, and it also gives us an idea when it might got buried in the ground. I guess it might got lost like 50 years ago and then just buried in the ground because the color is almost gone. One of the axles is missing, and maybe that kid just threw it away because it has a fender bender here. Now let's give it a clean. Okay, so I cleaned it as good as possible. And now let's just find out a little bit more about this. I can definitely tell you that this is a toy which was made in America. So not made in China, which I'd say most of the toys are made in China nowadays. And it's made by a company called Tootsietoy, made in Chicago, USA. And it's a Ford Country Sedan, and we have a parts number. And now let's just find out a little bit more about this toy. I wonder if it ever had like an interior, or if it just really just had two axles below there and no interior. It actually gives no indication here that an interior was there. So I'm not sure if that was really just a metal toy like this, and no underfloor and no windows although I guess there were windows in there. So I guess at least something was in here which had the windows, like a plastic which made where you had the windows, but there is really nothing indicating that how it was attached at the time, if you know what I mean. So you just see the axle attachment here, but nothing here which would tell how it was holding the underfloor or the windows. Pretty strange, but it's made out of metal, and somebody played rough with that. I wonder what happened here, but maybe that was when it was buried and somebody hit it with a spade. That's what I guess. And maybe the same happened actually to the rear fender here. And I guess the color just went away because it was buried so long in the ground, especially in Michigan where it's freezing cold during winter. So, okay, here's what I found out. So this toy car actually just came as a metal die cast and just with the axles. So there was no interior and there was actually no windows, nothing. And so it's a Tootsietoy car. The model is a Ford Country Sedan, and the casting number, it's P-10295. And the manufacturing location was Chicago 24. And the material is die cast metal. That's what I found out. And what I also found out, I'll just read it for you. The Chicago 24 marking refers to a postal zone used before zip codes were introduced in 1963. So that tells us that this model might be older than 1963. Since this was buried in my front yard, it might be buried there since more than 50 years. And here's a little bit more I found out about this baby. And it reads the following. The Tootsie model features a single-piece die-cast metal body without additional components such as a plastic window or interior details. The design includes open window spaces allowing visibility through the car's interior, which we don't have, which is characteristic of many Tootsietoy vehicles from that era. The wheels are metal and attached to the body using a simple axle. And we have that here. And apparently this thing is worth in mint condition $50, in good condition 20 to 30, and in poor condition 10 to 15. I guess mine would be poor conditions. However, I'm gonna keep it, so yeah, I might just actually try to make another axle for this, repair this part here, maybe with some solder we can repair it, and we might paint it. I'm not sure if I should paint it. I guess I want to keep it in its original condition. We just fix this and then we'll get an axle for this. So I'll put the description of that car in the description below.